Eds 2.
The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Clear skies overnight with a low of 53. Then on Wednesday, sunny and cooler with a high of 66. The Great Wall Restaurant, located on France Avenue along the Minneapolis-Edina City line, has been providing an authentic taste of Chinese cuisine since 1981. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. I like to be called Wakunjahade, which is my real name, which means distant thunder. My taxpayer name is Robert Pilot, and I guess my social security too, Wendy. So we talk about Native issues and human issues, and human issues are Native issues, Wendy. And we are almost like a little magazine show here that brings in, we're a conduit for all these great Native Americans and allies all across Turtle Island to talk our truth. And we start out each day, Wendy, with...
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Call them at 651-304-9986. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You don't need to live in the Twin Cities or Minnesota to call them.
Just need a phone.
They get updates every day, so they have the latest and greatest information.
That's right. So how have you survived the day after my birthday?
Day after your birthday was good. Now it's the George Floyd 1-year anniversary.
Right. Never forget that.
Yeah, exactly. So
and we'll talk a little bit about it in the next segment.
Excellent. Yeah.
So one of the things too, We have Nancy Beaulieu of Bemidji 350 on today, but we'll be talking about the anniversary of George Floyd. And here we are in the Twin Cities here. We're really a few miles, 3 or 4 miles from 5 miles.
It's 5.5 miles to the Cup Foods from our house.
Yeah, to where George Floyd was murdered, and how it changed us, and we'll reflect on that, and not just change us, but what we went through during that those awful 2 weeks too,
and change the world.
Absolutely. So we'll talk about that. But what's really cool about the show, Wendy, is that we have Ogama on, who talks about Native news and events that you can't hear anywhere else, or you don't hear anywhere else on any other radio station. So without further delay, let's get Ogama on. Welcome, Ogama.
Hi, Anim Buju, everybody. This is Ogama Ganuikwe. As always, I want to start with some water protector news. Coming up tomorrow in the Twin Cities at the Minnesota Governor's residence, the 1,000 Grandmothers group will be at Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's residence from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. They are going to be traveling. Well, they have traveled. They've already arrived in Minnesota, but they've traveled thousands of miles from multiple states to Minnesota to call on the loving energy of grandmothers across the state to stop the climate catastrophe that is the Line 3 tar sands pipeline. Their action is to appeal to Governor Walz and President Biden to use their power to stop Line 3, and also in solidarity with Anishinaabe people, or First People in the U.S., and to protect their treaty land as the Enbridge Energy Company prepares to tunnel underneath the Mississippi headwaters. So that is happening tomorrow at noon. We are going to be sharing out any live feeds from that event that we can find. I don't know, Robert, if we're going to make it out to that one tomorrow as much as we would like to, but it's definitely one of those ones where our hearts are there with you.
I might take a walk with Wanda tomorrow at noon.
It's supposed to be cooler.
Yeah, we could take a walk over and check it out.
Yeah.
I'll
that would be stellar, Wendy.
But I could be a grandmother, and I have gray hair, so I'll fit right in.
Yeah, and
exactly. Yeah,
a water protector, so
absolutely,
even triple fit in.
Yes. So also coming up tomorrow, May 26th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. is Soup Singing to Stop Line 3. That is a fundraiser for Camp McGizzy. You can register at tinyurl.com/soup singing. This is also going to be an opportunity for you to connect with your group to prepare for the Treaty People Gathering June 5th through 8th. As always, and I'm going to say it every day until June 5th, if you have not yet signed up, sign up for the Treaty People Gathering in northern Minnesota, June 5th through 8th. You can get signed up at treatypeoplegathering.com. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. I have some more water protector news today that was just passed on to me today, and I think it's really important to talk about this. So I mentioned water protector Cody Reed McKee yesterday. He was arrested in November 2020 for taking a stand to stop Line 3, and he was in court today in trial in Cass County. 1 week before the trial, the prosecution slapped Cody with an additional charge, a gross misdemeanor trespass on critical infrastructure. And despite support from the prosecution for continuance, the judge refused to grant an extension in order for Cody to prepare for a defense against the new charge. Another water protector today reported that Itasca County added 2 more misdemeanor counts to nearly everyone who is being charged for marching on March 3rd of 2021, which was the anniversary of the largest inland oil spill in U.S. history, which happened here in Minnesota near Grand Rapids. So in total right now, about 300 total people have been arrested in various nonviolent direct actions or demonstrations, and in some cases simply for being near an Enbridge worksite. Meanwhile, Carleton County, which is home to the infamous Camp McGeezy, you'll hear us mention them quite a bit. Carleton County passed a new ordinance that says that anybody throughout the entire county, you are no longer allowed to park on county roads, which means that Camp McGeezy is scrambling right now to clear out a spot on the patch of land that they have there for their camp to make sure that their water protectors have a place to park. So they did put out the call this afternoon that if you are able-bodied and willing and can go up to Camp McGizzy tomorrow. They really need some help to get a spot cleared for parking. Another alarming event that happened, just this past Saturday, there was a water protector event at the governor's mansion and with one of the smaller organizations. And those present were approached by police before they had even started. And they were informed that they would be cited immediately if they were to use sound amplification. They had just, one of those little, little
megaphone
things. Yeah, I don't even think it was a megaphone, but with the little box with the microphone, and it's not terribly loud, but it does amplify you when you're speaking to a group of people or trying to make yourself heard, such as you're right.
Karaoke
right?
machine?
Yeah, maybe it was a karaoke machine. I was told it was not that big, but the disappointing part is that they were informed that they would be cited immediately if they were to even turn it on, which, I mean, that kind of just defeats the purpose of, you going out and making a stand and exercising your rights, right? Am I wrong here? I don't know.
I could definitely see it though, but I could definitely also see all those houses on Summit Avenue, the multi-million-dollar houses, people complaining about the noise. So I bet you that's where it, came from.
I could imagine that as well, but I was also told that during that conversation with the police that there was actually somebody across the street who was running a leaf blower, which would be most likely a couple of decibels higher than this little machine they were going to use.
I would agree with that too. Those things should be banned as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah, they're not very helpful pieces of machinery. The last thing that I want to touch on and only touch on in this segment, because I'm sure Robert and I will talk about it more in the next segment, and Wendy too, is that shots were fired at George Floyd Square today at the intersection of 38th in Chicago and Minneapolis, which has been named George Floyd Square since shortly after his murder 1 year ago today. The Associated Press international affiliate reporter Philip Crowther was on the scene. And it was actually caught on video. And later, after reviewing the footage, Crowther determined that there were about 30 gunshots that were fired. So we'll have more on that in the next segment.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how much we'll talk about that, but we're going to bring back our memories, and we will touch on it, but not get too in depth with it. We also, where you were when you found out about, we'll talk about that.
Sure.
And if you want, give us a call, 952-946-6205 and chime in. But we're going to talk a little bit about what happened a year ago, and then just what happened to our Twin Cities, Wendy.
Give out that number once more, Robert.
952-946-6205. We'll be right back after this short break. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us. Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager. The wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Elusive Nation.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakun Hade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 Hotline. Call them at 651-304-9986. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Hey, thanks, Wendy. Before we get too deep into this, I want to mention, too, that tomorrow we're having a special 2-hour show on AM 950 and the Devil's Radio Network. So that's going to be exciting.
What time does that start?
Starts same time, 6 o'clock. It'll be commercial free, and we're going to be. Ogama, what's the name of the show again? Native Roots Radio presents.
The show it's actually a plant medicine webinar, and it's going to be hosted by the Lower Fallon Creek Project and the Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. So they're going to be having 3 really wonderful ladies who are going to give us some information on traditional health and well-being during COVID-19 and beyond, which is the title of the webinar.
So Native Roots Radio presents Health and Beyond.
Yep. There you go.
For 2 hours. But, even if you're not into it, these women are so interesting.
Really interesting.
I am into it.
Yeah, definitely.
And what you're going to do to the front yard here, get rid of that concrete sod and put out some traditional medicines out here.
Yeah,
that are
and
traditional in Minnesota.
Yes,
and
organic and native to Minnesota. So plants and flowers that will grow here that will attract butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds.
So I don't remember how much or what I heard about the George Floyd murder, which today is the anniversary. We took 9 minutes and 20 seconds at school,
29
the whole state at 1 o'clock. We did that, and but I know the next day was the protest that I went to, and I swear to God there was 10,000 people there.
The day after he was murdered.
Yeah, so it'd been the 26th. But this is the anniversary of his murder.
Yes,
and really changed a lot of things. And one of the things I want to say, Wendy, before we get too deep into it, and I said that already twice, is also that we would not have the change that we've been fighting for so long in that Washington football name if this did not happen. This was a direct result of sponsors talking to NBA players, WNBA players, going on one knee during this whole time of the George Floyd protests all over the world, right?
All over the world. Yeah, there were people all over the world protesting in London, Paris, all over. So,
with a lot of people.
Yes.
You look at those pictures, and I forget, the streets were jam-packed.
All over the United States also. But you bring up a good point, because once those big sponsors leave, right, they were threatening to leave and take their money with them, but because money is that's what keeps the name there. So if the sponsors say either get rid of the name or we're leaving with our money, they get rid of the name.
It was Nike first.
I wish they would do it without that, like without a threat, like just doing the right thing. But maybe that's another time and world that we live in.
Well, I know the owner of the Washington football team swore up and down that he would never, ever over his dead body change the name. I mean, just recently.
Well, when the big sponsors said they were leaving and taking their money with them, that's when he did it.
And Kaepernick was correct by putting down a knee, and he's still not playing for an NFL team. Maybe he's losing I think he's 29 or 30, so he's only got a few more years, and I'm sure he's rusty. But it's a another reason for me not to enjoy the plantation called
Football.
NFL.
NFL, yeah.
I mean, you got the billionaire owner, and then you have all these slaves playing for him for peanuts. Because if you hurt yourself, Wendy, you're done.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, at least if you sign a contract for 10 years, they pay you no matter if you hurt yourself or not.
But the NFL
does
doesn't
not
do that.
No.
Well, if you're an NFL player, hopefully you have somebody, good financial planner who can help you so that if something like that happens, you have a little nest egg.
Well, the average, I don't want this to become football talk, but the average career is 2 years for a football player.
Wow.
And think about that, because there's some superstars that have been around 10, 15, 20 years and how that average. So some people come on and play for a year and they're done because there's 50 players on one team. And,
I think we changed it to a football team.
A football show. Right. Well, I'm just really happy that football teams has a different name.
Are there any other out there? The Washington Redskins.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs from Kansas City. And then you got the Braves from the baseball team, the Braves and the Indians. So our work's not done.
Yeah.
But the Redskins, as you know, Wendy, has to do with scalping and also putting a price tag on Native American scalp and calling them Redskins, and the Redskin is from the blood on your face from being scalped,
right?
And they were asking for what, $200 per scalp, and that was here in Minnesota to clear out the Indians.
Yeah, so George Floyd, it was a direct result from, unfortunately, George Floyd's death that this came about. And hopefully, President Biden said he's going to be signing George Floyd legislation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, during, right after Memorial Day. They just want to get the wording and everything right. And
I think his family understands. They met with the president today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's maybe get to Ogama here real quick. And I know after the murder and the uprising, that her and her significant other came down to protect Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, which is a Native American corridor. It's all these businesses, Native American businesses, and we have the Indian Center there. We have all these
coffee shops. Yeah.
A NADKey with a clinic. I mean, everything's there, Wendy.
Right.
And they had a call out, Mike Gozi, who's Ho-Chunk, had a call out. American Indian Movement had a call out to save from burning down. And maybe we'll just Ogama, what is your experience? You guys came down and let us know like a few days after his death, and to protect, and the whole, the press wants to say that these were unruly Minnesotans and Black Lives Matter people and burning down their own neighborhood and their own grocery stores. But we know that I think 6 out of the last 8 or 6 out of 7 that have been convicted are white people that came in to raise havoc.
From out of state.
Yeah, and out of the Twin City area for sure.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your experience, Ogama. We got like a couple minutes.
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. I came from a few hours north of the Twin Cities, and on my way down to the Twin Cities following George Floyd's murder, I remember it being very frustrating to hear how it was being spoken of on the media, that nobody was talking about how George Floyd was blatantly murdered on camera, and that everybody had seen the film. Or that the police, it took how long to get George Floyd. It took how long to get Derek Chauvin arrested for his murder of George Floyd? It took a full, 48 hours or something?
Well, he was fired immediately.
He was fired immediately, but he was not arrested until I think it was like 2 or 4 days after, which felt like an agonizingly long time. It was an amazing amount of time. It should not have taken that long. But I remember kind of yelling at the radio on my way up, going, that's not what happened. Like, can you please talk about what actually happened? And then coming into the Twin Cities, you could kind of still see some of like the smoke patches over the Twin Cities. There's this big gray cloud over the cities from the first night. We arrived in the second night of rioting, and we posted up at the American Indian Center on Franklin Avenue because I'm not from the Twin Cities. I grew up, a few hours north of there, so that whole Native American corridor on Franklin Avenue is the place that I go when I come to the cities. If I don't know where to go, if I need a meal, if I'm looking for something fun to do, that's where I go. So that place is really special to me, and that's why I was there. But I did get a chance to walk around as the sun was coming up both mornings, and I really identified with a sign that I seen. Somebody posted it on social media. It was a mother and said, if it was my child who'd been murdered in the street, I'd be burning things down too. And as a mother, that really hit me. And that thought was, I didn't have the way to articulate it in those early morning hours, but that was my thought, that, all of these buildings can be rebuilt, but we're never going to get lives back. And, it's really important that our legislature and those that are making changing the laws for us here in the United States, not just in Minnesota, but the United States as a whole, they really understand that.
Yeah, exactly. Good insight. And I think one of the things is that we have changed forever, Wendy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Things will never be the same.
I hope things are better since his death. I hope that, he didn't die in vain, and that a lot of good legislation and police reform and just things will happen in a positive way because of his death.
Since his death, 947 people have been murdered by police.
Mm-hmm.
So that's keep on top of it and keep talking about it and do what we can to amplify this because that's not right.
It's not right.
It's not right at all.
It's got to change.
So it's a somber anniversary. We can swing it in a positive way, but we also have to stay vigilant. Hey, up next, Nancy Beaulieu, Bemidji 350, get an update what's happening up in the deep north in Minnesota. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Are your remote workers putting your company at risk? Not sure what steps to take to secure your data? Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. The Rymark team is guiding our clients through these difficult times. In fact, demand has been so high, we created an easy-to-follow guide with the 5 steps to securely work from home. It's yours free. Download our 5 steps to securely work from home now at rymarkit.com or call 651-328-8900 for a no-cost how-to discussion.
Hey, this is Tom Harbin. Listen to me weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Find more at am950radio.com.
The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Over the past year and more, we've all missed out on a lot. Family time, graduations, weddings. And missing those events, we've missed out on even more. Friendships, connections, community, belonging. That's a long time to miss things this important. So don't miss on getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Vaccines are now available throughout Hennepin County to anyone over the age of 16. Just visit takecarehennepin.org and sign up to get yours. That's takecarehennepin.org.
Good news, everyone. After a year of challenges, we're getting back on the road. This summer, I'm planning on long overdue road trips, heading to the Iron Range and to coastal South Carolina. But before I leave, I'll take my vehicle to Rudy Luther Toyota for service. Most of us have not driven as much as usual, so getting a complete front-to-back inspection at Rudy Luther is just smart. Rudy Luther Toyota's top-notch service team will make sure your car is ready to get back on the road. Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Clear skies overnight with a low of 53. Then on Wednesday, sunny and cooler with a high of 66.
Get guaranteed appliance savings from Minnesota specialists at Warner Stellian. Choose from the area's largest selection of in-stock, top-rated appliances and get an extra 5% rebate plus free delivery for a limited time and only at Warner Stellian.
This is Winona LaDuke of Honor the Earth, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm awake.
We are Alusa Nation.
Welcome back. Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakun Jahade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice, and the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. So it's Wednesday, or no, it's Tuesday. What day is it?
It's Tuesday.
It's the day after my birthday. That's all I know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we had a good celebration. I want to say Peeny Gigi, Wendy, for setting that up and
Yeah.
having our daughters over and
My pleasure.
making them tell me how cool of a guy I am.
They
Appreciate
always
that.
tell you how cool you are.
They must think I have money or something. So hey, this is Tuesday, so we have Nancy Beaulieu of Bemidji 350 on, and we're really always excited to have Nancy on. Welcome, Nancy.
Well, miigwech for, again, let me hold some space here on this windy Tuesday night here in northern Minnesota. And Robert, I just want to say you're almost as cool as me, but we'll work on that, okay? So, you know, what I want to say, and before I forget, because I did last week, I want to say a big congratulations to our Native graduates, and we want to wish them the best in all their endeavors, and couldn't say how proud we are of them, and that we always have to remind ourselves that knowledge is power. And we know, you know, especially how we're learning to show up now, that, you know, they're afraid of an educated Native, and it's so inspiring to see more of our people step it up and graduate, Robert. So congrats
definitely.
to all of those relatives holding those spaces, or if they decide they want to do that, I think, you know, it's a good decision moving forward, and I just encourage people to continue with their education. I also want to welcome all of our grandmas and all the aunties that will be with them at the governor's mansion tomorrow, and I hope they give Wallace a good ear beating, or, you know, grab him by the ear like grandma would sometimes.
Get the wooden spoon out. My grandmother would get the wooden spoon out.
Yeah,
She was
my mom
Italian.
Right. And, you know, they might be lucky they don't have my grandma, because when we committed, you know, something really not really good, we had to go pick out our own willow stick every now and then. And, you know, line 3, I think Governor Walsh should go pick his own willow stick. So, you know.
Well, I think Adrian Peterson got in trouble for that. It was called the switch.
Yeah, the switch. So anyways, you know, we've been planning so hard, Robert, for the Treaty People Gathering, and I couldn't be more excited. We're getting a lot of people signed up to join us, and as of yesterday, we had about 1,000 people, and I haven't, you know, been informed of the numbers today, but, you know, we have till the 5th, and so I can imagine we're going to have over 1,000 people there. And today we secured the venue, so we're going to be in Mahnomen, and this is from June 5th through the 8th. And the first is a welcome, and drums and prayer, and then Sunday it's a little Treaty 101, and then a little training on how to hold space peacefully and stand for our rights. And then on Monday we're going to exercise our treaties and hold space. So we invite all of our allies and relatives across Turtle Island to, mark their calendars and make sure they come up here and help us exercise those treaties and our freedom of religion and holding space, because we were just out to the bridge today, Robert, and they are back to work. And it's really disturbing. And yeah, that's here right in the heart of 3 reservations, White Earth, Red Lake, and Leech Lake. And we know Beltrami County has, the Sheriff's Department is providing security for Enbridge. And so next week I'll get to present why treaties matter and the real facts about Line 3. So yeah, so next Tuesday I'm looking forward to educating our elected officials and our sheriff that this is a bad decision.
Well, Nancy, I think if you have 1,000 people signed up, that means you're going to have 3,000 at least people up there, because people go with people that aren't signed up. And so that's going to be really good. That's going to remind me, Wendy and I, the days of Standing Rock, when we'd go there during the week and there was 1,000 people there, and the weekends there'd be many, many more people. So I'll be up there probably the second day and on the 6th, and Wendy's got her, she's getting ready to write a check for bail. No, I'm just kidding. I will be. But I'll be up there and she'll be holding the fort down, and maybe Monday she'll be doing the show by herself.
Could be.
Right. Well, Robert, we're asking many people that will be joining us that day to, step it up and hold space with us, because we really need to grab, some attention here. We're calling out to the Biden administration to step in and shut down Line 3 like he did with the Keystone XL. And, honor of his own executive order, the treaty, the government to government, this is a good way to, stand in good faith and do right by our people here in the United States. And, again, at the same time, we're not going to let Waltz off the hook. So we'll be hashtagging him as well during this event process that takes place. So I'm really excited. Been out and about just seeing what's in store for us. And I already feel the good vibes ahead of time, Robert. So I think you're probably right. There's going to be about 3,000, because when us natives travel, most of us won't register, and we'll just show up. Because
Exactly.
They'll show up, so have extra food.
Right.
Right. Just got to mention fry bread. I told them today. Just tell them there's fry bread. They'll come.
Right.
So
And free T-shirts will be up there. I know I will be.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be staying up at the casino and doing my recordings and things there. So I really appreciate that. And we'll be up there covering this and reporting on this.
Right. And we're excited to have, the media there. And, without saying too much, we do have a few celebrities that might be hanging out with us for the day. And I won't give up any more than that. But anyways, even looking forward.
I'll call you after the show and find out.
So wear your best clothes, Robert.
Yeah.
So anyways, moving forward, we just don't want to be done on the 8th, of course, we can't, because then, we're not a marching band about to, make some beautiful noise and pack it up and go home until the next show. Moving forward, we're talking, let's all get our inner tubes and let's go have fun on the water and have a beautiful resistance and celebrate that we are water, or continue on with the ride for the rivers. Just last Wednesday, I was out on a bike ride with Shanae from the Palisade camp, and it was a beautiful ride until, of course, Robert, we're in the deep, deep north, so we were harassed twice, and we had to, law enforcement was actually in the vicinity, the sheriff was, and he actually handled the matter in, a respectful kind of way. And it's really sad to see, because we know the sheriff at this point, and he seems like he's making some really, really ethical, sound decisions and protecting our right to protest and our First Amendment. But yet, I think at some point he may be pushed by the powers, and this is what it does to our people like him. They, that have good hearts and have to make bad decisions. That's just so unfair how this corporate giant can just mess things up, even somebody's career. It's like they don't even care. And I wish Darren Halverson, the sheriff of Clearwater County, wouldn't have to be in this position because, again, he's done good by us. But then again, what about the powers when they start showing up? And Beltrami County is just a neighboring county that supports Enbridge. So if Clearwater don't show up, it'll be Beltrami County,
Well, I want to remind everyone, Nancy, that this is roughly 4 hours north of the Twin Cities where these pipes are going all over treaty land. And we're sick and tired of having pipelines put in through native country, reservation country, and we're fighting back, just to let everyone know in Madison and Chicago what we're talking about.
Right. And, the Line 3 is just tar sands that sinks to the bottom if it should leak, or it's not should, it's going to leak. But yeah, again, our words continue to fall on deaf ears. And, a part of that stand that day is based around, treaty partnership and what good are our treaties if we don't exercise them. So this is just something, like I said, Robert, there's so much beautiful resistance power into this movement that's taking place June 5th through the 8th that I think we're going to remind the world once again, like we did at Standing Rock, that we're still here and we're going to keep fighting back and we're going to keep getting educated and we're going to keep running for office and we're going to just keep doing what we need to do, Robert. And I encourage people to join the movement. It's beautiful. And together we are community and we will protect the future.
Let everyone know how to sign up.
Oh, they can sign up at treatypeoplegathering.com and do that right away. And if there's ways you want to help us and you're not sure, this is one reason why you want to sign up early and figure out what kind of space you'll be holding when you come. And you don't have to be arrested to show up. We need people to bear witness and, play drums for us and those kind of things and just hold space peacefully. So, again, you don't have to be arrested, but, helping hold space in camp or at the event and making sure there's a smooth operation in the most peaceful way we know how, we'd sure love to have that support.
Absolutely. And, I got to remind our audience too in Wisconsin and the Twin Cities here is that it's an occupation. It's not only called the deep North, Wendy, but we call it the occupied North because there's sheriffs from all over the country that are there. And thank goodness we don't have Hennepin County or Ramsey County sheriffs up there because then there would be really heck to pay down here.
Right. And, that's like I said, the sheriff of Clearwater County, he kind of, reminds me of, what is that, Sheriff Hutchinson or Hutch? I can't remember how that.
Sheriff Hutch.
Hutch. Yeah. Yeah. And this guy just seems to be the same kind of guy. And he's just he's stuck between a wedge and a hard place. And I just feel bad for him, and again, he's been good to us. And I just hate it when people like him are put in positions like this because of greed. It's just not right.
Right.
So when we got to protect our livelihoods too, Robert. Minnesota's strong.
Right on. And Nancy, Peeny for all you do. I keep an eye on you on Facebook and what's going on with you and basically what you're eating and how much stuff you're planting too.
And planting.
Don't mention those peanut butter cookies.
Oh, bring those the 5th.
Your artwork is beautiful too. So.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Peeny, thank you so much for being on, and we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you next Tuesday for sure on Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake.
All right, thank you, and remember everybody, we're still here June 5th through the 8th, and let's stand together in solidarity, miigwech.
Stay with us. The Department of Indian Work partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Now you can call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also schedule a free COVID-19 vaccine at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Appointments are available for residents 16 years of age and older. Vaccines are available to certain residents of Hennepin, Ramsey, Anoka, and Dakota counties. Call the Minnesota American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986 to find out when you can get your free COVID-19 vaccination. Appointments are available April 16th through June 19th. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Look, I'm wearing a wolf today. Isn't this a pretty shirt? Yeah. Hey, all things are our relatives, and what we do to everything we do to ourselves, all is one, and Black Elk said that. I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy Pilot. Wendy, I texted you today and was wondering where my awesome and beautiful wife was at the time.
Yeah.
Wendy has been an animal advocate for many years, and she is a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and she works on animal issues at the local and state level. And so this is we've been doing this since the beginning of the show, almost 4 years. This is our Sacred Animal section. Welcome, Wendy.
Hey, everybody. Hi, my name is Hanajihi Hani, and that means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega, Curtis. So as always, Curtis, thank you. Today I'm going to be talking about coyotes, and not only coyotes that live in the wild, but here in urban coyotes. So
do they like wear bling and necklaces and stuff?
Yeah, they have a bling around their neck. Yeah. So we have a Facebook page, like a neighborhood Facebook page, right? On
where we live.
So Robert and I live, I don't know, what do you think, 4 blocks from the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
So even though we live in an urban area, we're right next to the Mississippi River. So we see a lot of wildlife and a lot of animals around. You know, not just your regular, eagles we see and raccoons. Yeah. We see them in our backyard. I mean, we're so close to the river. So
and you feed the whole dang neighborhood.
Oh God. Well, I know, but I really shouldn't do that.
They know us by name too.
But what I wanted to talk about was that people are posting on Facebook that there's a coyote down by the Ford Bridge, and there's a coyote over there, and they've noticed the coyote when they're walking along the river. There's a walking path that goes for miles up and down the river that you could walk on, that they've seen the coyote, and it's kind of really scaring them.
Recently? Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, they want to kill the coyote. They just like, get the coyote out of here, kill the coyote, trap the coyote, get the coyote out of it. And the other half of the people are like, we need to live with the coyote. We need to learn to live with the coyote. Here's the things that we can do to live.
Protect both.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really important for people to know. And the coyote has also been seen like walking the streets of the neighborhood walking the streets of the neighborhood. We saw the coyote once. Do you remember a couple of years ago?
Yeah, wasn't that coyote sick though, or somebody was saying, or he
Well,
was skinny?
I think it was just a skinny coyote. I don't
Uh-huh.
know. But, I mean, they eat, rabbits and they
What?
eat bugs. They do. It says it right here. They
I
do.
believe
They
ya.
eat bugs. They eat,
That's a stretch though, a big rabbit and a little bug.
A bug.
So
Well,
can I have
I
1,000 bugs or one rabbit tonight, please?
But they'll also go in your garbage too if it's not shut nicely and stuff. So anyway, but really, honestly, Robert's laughing at me. But coyotes. If you see a coyote, there's videos on YouTube where coyotes are seen in the front lawn where somebody left their dog's toy out there and the coyote's playing with it, so they have a lot of same behaviors as our dogs. So we want to, and then they seem cute. But here's the thing: when people are walking past that coyote on the Mississippi River, or you could be walking around and seeing a coyote coming out, now is the time that they're rearing their pups up until September.
Really?
So they're rearing their pups. They probably have a den right off the side of the walkway there, really. And what it's called is it's called escorting. So when the coyote comes out and kind of snarls or picks up their hunch, or growls, people think that the coyote is really, really very aggressive. But the thing is that coyotes don't want to get injured. So they know that any time that they engage another dog or an animal or any kind of fight, that they know that they can be injured. And especially a mother coyote that has her pups does not want to get injured because she knows she has to take care of those pups.
Yep.
So it's called escorting. So she'll kind of come to escort you out of there or follow you. Sometimes they'll follow you for a while to make sure that you're a safe distance away.
Did I see like mountain lions doing that too?
Yes.
People escorting them out of there?
That's right. The mountain lion will escort you. They won't attack you. They just want to scare you away. Because again, especially a mother mountain lion or a mother animal doesn't want to get injured because they know that they need to take care of their babies. So,
but a bear will just beat the crap out of you.
Exactly.
They don't
exactly. And it says right here, coyotes may attempt to escort or divert your dog away from a den site or a food resources. Coyotes do not want to injure themselves, so they may put on a show to get your dog to move along, including a bluff charge or hunching their back, dropping the head and showing teeth. These threat displays are intended to scare your dog away and you as well, without the risk of making physical contact. But if you're walking with a big dog, you should get in front of the dog and the coyote. So you're in between them. And if you have a small dog, you need to pick the dog up.
Right.
And always make sure that your dog's on a leash, right? No matter what.
Well, that's commingle here with the animal here. If you are walking around an area where possibly a coyote is, how about walking on the other path or on the other side of the road instead of, or because they even have half the road closed. I don't know if they have it all the way down there, but part of the road's closed. So let's share the road, not just with motorcycles, but with coyotes.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some people, I know last year they put up a post, like the coyote's den is from here to here. Like it was like somebody just drew a sign and posted it on a tree, right? So that and then people can just like walk around it and not go on those things. But honestly, if we're walking down there, they're saying like, if you know that there's a coyote down there, you should carry like a can that has like something in it to make a shaking noise so that you could also scare the coyote away.
Chance for me to use my tambourine.
Or a whistle or something that's loud that you could make a noise and scare the coyote away. And then you should never feed them. You should never leave food out because they They'll get used to us. They
Right.
get used to us and being around us, and then they're not afraid of us.
And then they'll bite you.
And then if your cat's outside or your small dog, then they will be in danger.
Yeah.
So we want them
And
to
we
be
have small
afraid of us,
dogs.
but we need to respect each other and
Share the road.
And share the road, Robert. I know that you're really good at that, sharing the road. Not really, but
Was that
okay.
an inside joke? Wow, yeah. But no, I mean, come on. We're all beings here,
Mhm.
and that's the whole sacred thing. You know, I always get teary-eyed when I hear or read an elder speaking about how we are all related. And I mean, everybody that is native feels that way and has been taught that way. And the people who have been colonized over the hundreds and hundreds of years used to feel that way until they were colonized. I mean, everybody has had relationships with the earth and with our relatives, but they've just forgotten.
That's a really good point, Robert. They have forgotten.
Yeah. Well, hey, I want to end. I would like to end with these thoughts, Wendy.
Mhm.
I have not forgotten that. Hey, if you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance. From Chief Plentycoops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to mask up, resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and get that vaccine.
Mhm.
Huh? What the heck?
Go do it.
Right. I would like to thank Nancy Beaulieu, Wendy Pilot, and Ogama for their great segments. If you are listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We are still here. We are the seventh generation.
Free Leonard Peltier.
Get guaranteed savings, then get an extra 5% rebate on thousands of top-rated in-stock appliances from Warner